Exciting, mashallah. Let me see, is my light pitch perfect? Oh, okay, nice. Okay, I'll just turn on my timer right now, and then we'll give maybe another 3 minutes just for more people to join. Before then, I'll use the time to download a video that I would like to share with you guys, inshallah. Right, so welcome everyone. Just give me a moment, please, while we wait for others and I get myself super ready. So I'm turning on my timer just to make sure that there is no such thing as too much time gone, inshallah. Okay, super. So let's see. Who's speaking? Someone's unmuted. No, is that Zara? Okay, she accidentally. Okay, everyone. Videos in and good. Okay, so mashallah, alhamdulillah. So while we are waiting for more people, can we just chat and let's know each other for about a minute, just while wait time. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة I'm excited. Okay, so my name is Mariam Shehu Mohammed. I'll tell you more about myself, of course. But in the chat box, can we please chat just to make sure the chat is working? I'm sure it will. But anyway, just chat me up and tell me your full names and where you're joining us from, okay? Just let's do that very briefly, and then I'll use the time to read it. Okie dokie. All right, everyone, tell me your name and where you're coming from, where you're joining us from. Okay, someone's unmuted. Perfect. Alhamdulillah. Okay, we're good to go now. Is anyone chatting me? Oh yeah, Zainab Haroon from Ibadan. Yay, Zainab. Okay, so let me just mention the names that I see. And I'll just give you a brief outline of what we're going to be discussing today and how it's going to run. So the firstly, I'm going to, Zara. Okay, Zara says she's currently in Ibadan too. Nice. Many people are in Ibadan. Okay, what's happening there? Should I come? Okay, everyone, so let me see. I see Zara, of course, our host. I see Rahimat. Please forgive me if I kill your name. I'll just take at Rahima. There's Rahimat joining us from Lagos. There's Fatima currently in the UAE visiting. Oh my God, I want to join you. There's Sharifat from London, and then there's Zainab in Lagos, and then there's Latifah from Lagos. Oh wow, this is amazing. Okay, mashallah everyone, good to meet you. So the way I really want this is I want it to be interactive, so the chat box is going to be on fire. Woo, Samiat is from Warri. Mariam namesake is from London. Hey. Good. All right guys, super excited to be here. So without further ado, it's 8:05 right now, and I really want to stick to time. Let me start sharing my screen for the fun stuff that we're going to be learning today, inshallah. Okay, so can you all see my screen? I believe you can. If you can, please. Unmuted. Yes. Okay. If you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know. And then I will proceed. Okay. Yes. Thank you, everyone. All right. So the topic for today, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, is none other than my issue with Zoom is that in mixing the chat box with the what's it called? When I make my keynote full screen, then the chat box just gets in the way and stuff like that. Okay, so pardon me. So let me just make sure the chat box is out of the way. Okay, so today's session is going to be divided into 4 sections. Very interesting. I can't wait to start. Firstly, I'm going to start by sharing with you a story, like I always like stories. And next, I will share with you the topic of the day, of course, inflation. Inflation is an issue that people face every day, especially us in this part of the world, how to manage it, and then my favorite part, steps to beat inflation, okay? There'll be a video I'll be sharing, which I'm sure you would absolutely love. And also I will be making a very important announcement at the end, okay? So guys, stick to the end, make sure you stay. All right, moving very quickly. Firstly, there's this story I love to share, and this is the story of a lady called Amira. Okay, now because oops, what's happening here? Oh, this wasn't the slides I used actually, but anyway, they work. So a lady called Amira, a client turned friend, came to us at Wealth Paradigm, and she had saved for so long. Unfortunately, she came very devastated because the value of her savings suddenly had halved or so. And so she couldn't buy, she was saving to buy something very important to her. And suddenly, it's just wiped away. So she was really heartbroken. So what I've put together today are the strategies that I shared with her and with a lot of other people that have worked for many people that I know who are moguls and myself as well. Okay. So Bismillah. All right. How many of us can relate to the story of Amira? How many of us can relate to the story of Amira? How many? Chat with me, guys. Oh, yeah. Sharifat says here. Yes, of course. How many of us can relate to the value of everything you have, your salary, your income or something is just less. It can't buy you as much stuff. How many of us can relate? Yeah. Okay, so Z says she's not really good with saving, so it doesn't really apply to her. Umi can, yeah. I know I can too. Okay, all right, so I just wanted to move the slides a little bit. Okay, so if you can all relate to Amira, then we'll go straight to the gist at hand here. And that simply is inflation. So what exactly is inflation? Can you see my screen now? Yes, you can, of course. Aha, so done with the story of Amira. So what exactly is inflation? Inflation, put very simply, as you guys all know, is the increase in price. So suddenly what you had before in your pocket cannot buy you what you could have bought, all right? Now, I'm going to do something quite different because I love to do things differently. So we're going to do some myth busting, okay? We're going to bust some myth, all right? But did I tell you about myself? Actually, I don't think I did. Okay, so let me go backtrack a little. My name is Mariam Shehu Mohammed. I am a Muslimah, wife, mother, daughter, sister, and friend, and a global citizen. Okay, and in my professional life, I am the Chief Investment Advisor at Wealth Paradigm, where our number one goal is to give Muslims access to wealth that lasts many generations. Okay, good. So now let's do myth busting. So what goes up and never comes down? Chat with me, guys. What goes up and never comes down? Let's see who's saying what. I told you this session is going to be super interactive, so please feel free to chat with me. That's what I want. Okay. Z says age, Sherifa says age. Woo! Sherry Shine still says age. Okay. All right. Who else wants to give it a try? I'll take one more answer and then I'll continue. What goes up and never comes down? If I give you a clue, I'd just, mess it up. I'm terrible at giving clues. Okay, so the simple answer is actually inflation. And I'll tell you why, all right? Typically, it's very, very hard, except in one story, which I'll be sharing with you, inshallah, very soon, except in one particular situation that I've known in my entire life. And there won't be many stories. Inflation hardly comes down. Uh, and so that's the answer. So what's the next question? The next myth is inflation someone's fault? Can you blame it on one person or one individual or one entity? So I'll answer this because this should be what I should say. No, actually, it's not someone's fault. It's not one person's fault. It is a combination of many things and many factors. So not to bore you with economics 101. Some of you are just like, oh, she's going to start going technical. No. All right, not to bore you, but it involves a number of factors, including currency, import-export imbalance. And what that means is any country or any society that imports more than it exports, simple, okay, just loses the value of its currency, and sort of prices tend to go up in that country, okay, or in that economy. And actually, you guys, believe me, inflation is actually a good thing. Did I just say that? Yes, I did. So inflation is actually a good thing to many economies. So the story I said I was going to tell you was the story of a country called Japan. If someone's joining us from Japan, they can please share with us, shed more light. So a few years ago, I'm not sure whether it was up to a decade or more, Japan experienced something called deflation, which is the opposite of inflation. So prices were dropping. Now, the people in charge of the economy was super scared because firstly, Japan was an aging economy. They had mostly old people. And so you know what deflation does? In very simple terms, aside from all the other numerous, economics 101 definitions, it has the opposite effect of inflation. And what inflation does to a society actually is it makes people adjust. People naturally adjust to inflation, and people typically get creative. They become creative in ways. So output increases. So what does output mean? People produce more, people want to buy more, people want to make more money anyhow. So they begin to go look inward and they start to create stuff. Every economy loves that. But deflation is the opposite. So the young people in Japan, for example, they could just relax and be like, oh, you know what, I'll just chill. After all, prices are falling. But then it wasn't that significant. And I'm sure the authorities did whatever they could to make sure it doesn't happen. So every country, you can name any country that you can, and in a few seconds, I'll dig up their inflation rate for you. The US, I know because I watch closely, inflation is almost roughly between 2.7% to 2.9% per year. It's called CPI. Okay, so that's what happens, all right? Now, enough of the lingo here. Let's go to straight inflation part, all right? So we've done the short story, told you, and then we've, identified what inflation is and what the effects are. Then talk about how to manage it. I'm sure all of you are here. That's why you're all here, right? Okay, brilliant. Firstly, we're going to do a little bit of homework, okay? Not really homework, a short exercise. What is your attitude? What's your mindset and attitude towards inflation? Can anyone share what they feel, how they feel towards inflation? What's your mindset towards it? And like I said earlier, inflation happens in almost every society. If you name any country, like I told you, it happens everywhere. But what is your about inflation? Let's chat, people. Let's chat. Let me be sure that my chat box. Oh, okay. So ZK says she becomes worried. Zainab says it's negative. She never wants to hear it. All right. Rama says, I don't fret. I just adjust accordingly. Ooh, okay. All right. So different people have different mindsets towards it. But if it helps, like I said initially, it happens everywhere, firstly. Second of all, in order for us to cope, I love what Mariam says. She says, learn to accept it and prepare for it when predicting. Okay, my chat box has just gone awry. So let me see if I can move it. So I can't really see the end of what Mariam namesake said. It's not funny. I'm not used to Zoom. Okay, so she says, you said that she learns to accept it and prepare for it when predicting savings. Okay, good. Hadiza says it's very frustrating. Well, he didn't say the very, I added it. Hamida also says an increase in the price of goods, but a common concept in the UK. Good. Thank you. I love having people from different backgrounds here. Now, look at this handsome donkey. Is the donkey really handsome? I don't think so. It's quite ugly. What basically what this picture depicts is what you resist persists. All right. And truly, if it helps, look at the donkey. First of all, the donkey is refusing to move. There is no way this donkey will remain here for 200 years. It's impossible. Okay. The donkey would have to I don't know why I thought of the donkey would have to go somewhere. The donkey would have to do something. All right. So, but the donkey is actually resisting standing up and moving. And typically what happens is, that's what happens to some of us, okay, not all of us. But if it helps, okay, inflation is part of life. And also from time immemorial, like there's stories of the Sahaba, like going to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they were worried about inflation, and he comforted them as usual, gave them some du'as to recite. So it's part of life. And also, let me tell you something that really works for me. Just think of and always put into perspective the abundance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always puts in our way in very subtle ways. For example, and I always use this example, we started this call around 8 and now it's about 8:21. You guys cannot and have not been able to count the amount of oxygen you've breathed in and out. You've not been able to count the amount of microbes that Allah has protected you from. And by the way, there are 4 angels around us. They're all protecting us from things we can't see. Each person has about 4 angels around. I learned that from Sheikh Umar Suleiman. I'm sure many of you watch that. So if it helps, just think about it. And sometimes when I get overwhelmed and anxious and stuff, what I do is I go out and I just look up at the sky and, sometimes just admire the trees. And I just ask myself, so the Almighty who made all of this cannot possibly find it difficult to solve my problem. All right. So that's what happens. For me, it really puts things in perspective. And I'm like, you know what? I'll be fine. All right. I'm sure the part that you guys have all been waiting for. Steps to beat inflation. How can you beat inflation? How? Okay. I think I have a few stories to share, but I can't remember. Don't know where the slides are. Doesn't matter. So how can you beat inflation? Now, there's a video I absolutely love, and I'm going to share that video with you right now. But first, I'm going to ask you, how do you think you can beat inflation? So what steps do you think you can take to beat inflation? Come on, guys. Chat. How? What steps do you think you can take to beat inflation? Ta-da. Okay, so Aisha says cut down on spending. All right. Okay, that's a good view. What else? What else can you do? Invest in instruments with a higher rate of return. Umi Umaru sounded like an investor. How come we haven't met? All right. What else? Who else wants to give us another view? I think I'll take 1 or 2 more and then I'll carry on with my video that I'm so excited to share. 1 more or 2 more views. Let's see. Anyone else? Okay. Rahima says regular savings, no matter how small. And then she says, comma, investment. Who is this? Okay. All right. So I'll stop here and then I'll share with you a video that I'm sure you guys will all love. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Please.
ซื้อลูกชิ้นลูกหนึ่งได้ไหมครับอ๋อไม่ได้จะอิ่มเหรอ
ค่าเงินลดลงทุกวันเก็บอย่างเดียวไม่พอ
Okay, so what do we think about the video? All right. What are you? Zara's expression just is priceless. What are your thoughts about the video? What do you guys think? Okay, so let's chat. What do you think? Okay, brilliant. AA says saving is not enough. I think I absolutely like that. Sherry Shine says having a good mix of investment helps to beat inflation. Great job, Sherry. Rahimat says saving is not enough. You need to grow your wealth. Brilliant. Zara hasn't been able to say anything. I think she's devastated. Yeah, I know. Amina says the ending hurt. I know, it broke my heart the first time I watched it. Like I was just like, I couldn't believe, painful. Thank you, Yasmin. It's just hard, you know, like anyway, the boy saved so much, but to so many of us, doesn't that remind you of Amira, the Amira I told you about earlier? Of course, for client confidentiality, we at Wealth Paradigm will never reveal information. So the names have been changed, but the stories are real, right? Just I had to put that out. So if you don't want to end up like the boy in Thailand, there inflation, and the first thing I would say is carve out emergency funds. Now, what does that mean? I know people whose sole job is to carve out emergency. Everything is an emergency. Every single saving they have is emergency fund, and that I don't think is useful from a wealth building perspective. Okay, and that can lead you to the situation of this boy. You know what happens? You save, and then you end up with absolutely nothing. But ideally, when you carve out your emergency funds, it should come from a monthly income or any salary that you have or any regular income that you have, whether it's husband giving you like house pocket money. If you can strive to save a little bit out of it and leave that as your emergency funds, then that's a very good idea. No matter how little, okay? That's one strategy. Now I'll tell you what to do with it, okay? So this is now A, so let's go to B. B is save towards a goal. So remember, cover emergency funds. Emergency fund is a goal too, right? The second one is actually to save towards a goal. So the boy in the video saved towards a goal, didn't he? Right? But one caveat I'd like to add is save towards a goal in an income generating account. Don't be like those our old grandparents who used to keep cash under the bed, under the mattress. So that's one thing, and I'll tell you how. So I have a story to share. Unfortunately, I think my little image of the person, and I have to find it because I really like my little images. Okay, so this is the person. So I have to move it quickly to where it is. Aha, there you go. Okay, so Amir was someone that came to us at one goal when he came was, look, I just want to. I have a poor habit of savings. I'm like a basket, a basket. Try pouring water in a basket. So that was how he was, and a big win for him, what we were able to do at Wealth Paradigm, was just to have him save towards a goal. So he told us, I think one of the things he said he wanted to do was fund his own masters. Okay, so that was also a goal. So it was a super win for him, and he was absolutely excited. So Zara says, please share examples of halal income generating accounts. Will do. So there is something that at Wealth Paradigm we call the money market account. Okay, so money market conventionally is not halal. Conventionally, because money market basically is interest. It's banks lending to other banks, and other people lending to other people with short-term interest. However, why this is different, and I'm answering Zara's question, is that the when an investor puts their money as, for example, as savings, you don't want the value of your savings. It's not a huge income generator, right? So that is one thing to keep in mind. And wait for me, please, till I reach somewhere in the next few slides, and I'll give you an exact answer towards this, okay? So, which brings us to this place. Invest in 3 buckets. Remember, it's not just about saving. It's not just about carving an emergency fund and, just saving towards a goal. I want to buy 20 mansions. Okay, I'll save. And then one day you wake up and your savings are like that boy. So here's what you do. You invest in 3 buckets, okay? The first bucket is lifeline bucket. Now, I really want you to pay attention because this is where all the value is, all right? And I don't normally share this for free, but you guys are lucky, okay? So the lifeline bucket is a bucket of funds. Now, let me give you a bit of background here. You can look at your wealth or so some of you might have some lump sum of cash that you want to invest. So for some of you, you can start to create your buckets with that lump sum of cash. What is always better, and that's the job of an investment advisor such as us at Wealth Paradigm. But the ideal way to do it is to actually look holistically at all of your wealth. So for example, you have a bit, earn X, Y, Z out of it. So what is that? You do something called a net worth assessment. It's very simple. Don't get intimidated by investment language, okay? It's very simple, trust me. What a net worth assessment simply means is you say, what is income sources, you list them out, what expenses, you list them out, and then net, you see whether you are positive or negative. And don't fret. The first time I did my net worth assessment, I nearly broke down into tears. And I was devastated. And I know people who have done that too in public sessions that I've attended, and some that I've just burst into tears. Grown people. Okay, so it's not comfortable, but it's a good indicator. Don't fret about it. Cry if you must, and then just move on, okay? When I say move on, take steps. So, and I'll share with you some steps to take. Once you do a net worth assessment, for example, if you find that too tedious and you're not ready to get an investment advisor, that's fine. You can just use a lump sum of cash that you want to invest and then do it moving forward. So then you say, okay, out of worth X, okay, or out of this lump sum of cash, or out of everything, let me see if I have a lifeline bucket, a personal bucket, and an aspirational bucket, okay? So let's talk about the lifeline bucket. Anything you put into this bucket in terms of investments are things that provide protection against a decrease in your lifestyle. Okay, so we don't want, the reason we fret about, on inflation, about inflation and stuff, is because we're suddenly uncomfortable. The things we could do sometimes get affected, right? So what you want to do is have an investment bucket that's a lifeline bucket. So in that pool, which then is similar to Zara's question when she says, what's a halal income generating account? If you ask me, the safest place to put money in this lifeline is actually investing in gold. And when I say gold, I don't mean Swiss gold. Please don't get me wrong. Or any of these American Wonder, sorry, excuse me, or any of these strange phenomenon gold investments that I see hanging around, please make sure that your investments are regulated. And it's not also gold that you and I wear on our fingers, ladies. It's actually gold bullion, so gold bars. You can actually either buy the gold bars yourself, or you can use an entity that is regulated that has the gold bars stored in a large bank, ideally a custodian bank. Okay, so there are regulated investments that are in gold. You can try that, because what gold does is it's a safe haven asset. It protects your capital. Not to say that you cannot experience any depreciation in value in gold, but it is small enough for you to say, well, in a couple of, and you can actually grow slightly. So which means that you can actually beat inflation a little bit with gold. Okay. You can also invest in something like sukuk. But sukuk, if you ask me, a naira denominated sukuk, if for those of you that are in Nigeria, is not the best idea, because even if you put in, for example, let's say you put in the equivalent of whatever you put in 7 years, I doubt you're going to come out with something good enough, unless you're an old lady who's retired and just looking for cash for those 6 months. The return sukuk is not really a good one. But if you can, there are dollar denominated sukuks that are out in the market, and speak to Wealth Paradise. Okay, and become our client, then we'll talk more. But sukuk is a good option. If you don't have dollar denominated sukuks, do not worry. You can do the local ones. That's absolutely fine. You can do the pound denominated sukuks where if you're in the UK or anywhere you are. Okay, I think they're a good store of value. The reason I discourage the naira denominated ones is because we always have issues with our currency against the dollar. Okie dokie. So yes, thank you, Miss Odewale says, my friend lost 2 million from gold investment. Of course. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that, but it happens. Okay, it happens. And it happens even sometimes to the best of us. When we suddenly become enticed by too much protection. So people promise, even if they promise the whole world and they tell you your capital is guaranteed, if it is not regulated by an entity whose job it is to regulate your money, it is not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed in this life. Okay. How do I access FX sukuk from Nigeria? Okay. I wouldn't want to go into much detail, but there are some that are listed in some markets. For example, there's some listed in Dubai. I know there's some in Malaysia and Indonesia. So you can stick with me to the end, and I think I'll share with you. You can become a client of Wealth Paradigm, and then we'll talk more. Thank you, Umi. That's a good idea, right? Okay. So then the next bucket is the personal bucket. So we've spoken about the lifeline. Remember, the goal is to protect any decrease in your lifestyle. The second bucket is the personal bucket. Now, in this bucket, okay, what you want to do, want to have investments that ensure that your current lifestyle can be sustained. So the difference between the two is that one is the bare minimum. Okay, so you try and invest. Oh, I forgot. For the lifeline bucket, make sure you also have investments in income generating accounts like money markets. So at Wealth Paradigm, what we do is we, in collaboration with some regulated entities, we actually provide access to short term that you can easily liquidate within 48 hours or 24 hours, and your principal is protected, inshallah, right? This entity is regulated. And also what they use your money for is they use your money to fund other people who do, for example, I don't know, import, export, or whatever it is. So the payments are stable, okay? Or they use it to finance mortgages. So the repayments are stable, and they only lend to people who have stable income. So by and large, your principal will be protected, inshallah, and then you earn returns on it. It's not that great, but then it's good for a lifeline bucket where, you're just making sure that you're surviving. So this personal one ensures that your current lifestyle can be sustained. And here you allocate to investments with above average risk. Okay, are we together? So this includes stuff like stocks. Okay, not all kinds of stocks. I would recommend what we call stocks and value stocks. If I would give an example using an international stock, I would say a value stock is something like Nestle. I know Nestle is global, so I would just want to use global examples because I know people are joining us from different countries. Nestle is a 5 million-year-old company. I don't know, they're just old. It's a very old company, and it's listed. So the way you can tell a value stock from other volatile stocks is that the companies are stable. Normally they pay a stable dividends, they are old, and they're usually not going anywhere. That's what I use to describe value companies. Okay, and those kinds of stocks are good for your personal bucket, right? Next bucket is, and then here as well in the personal bucket, you can, since you're taking a little more risk than the lifeline bucket, you can also have a small allocation to gold and sukuk, a smaller one, just so it's also, this money is also a bit safe. If you are wondering what I'm talking about by allocation, what I mean is, for example, if you have a million, maybe £1 million, okay, and you can just, by yourself, you can decide, and that's why you need to do the net worth assessment. Then you know exactly how much it will cost to sustain your lifestyle. Even if it's not exact, it's an indication. And then you can allocate percentages to that. All right, percentages. So you can say, if it costs me maybe 200,000 at the bare minimum, 200,000 pounds to sustain my life, then I would need maybe another, say, 250 in this personal bucket, which I can take a little more risk on, for example. And then you can also then, for this last bucket, you can give it another percentage. So that's what I mean. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them out. And at the end, I'll open the chat box for Q&A, okay? Then the last one is the chilling bucket. Oh, who are with? See, I love to chill. And some of you know that I love to chill. Many of you know that. I don't hide it, okay? I can't. Who loves to chill? Who's with me here? Who absolutely loves to chill? Let's see. Mailing. That's my girl. Okay, good. Good stuff. Okay, so the chilling bucket, and Latifat also raised a finger. Great. This chilling bucket is simple as it looks, okay? Yasmin also says, hey, ooh, Toiba says love to chill. Of course, we all do. This bucket is, where you invest in order to increase your wealth substantially. Sherry Shine is giving me the palm. Good job. So this is where you invest to increase your wealth substantially, okay? And of course, if you've noticed the pattern, we started with the lifeline bucket, which is absolutely low risk, and then we're now in the personal bucket, which takes a little more risk, and now we are in the chilling bucket. So with this, since you want your wealth to grow substantially, you need to take on a little more. In fact, not a little, you need to take on higher risk. And these, for these kinds of investments, you want to fund a goal that is usually long-term. So for example, someone wants to set up a charity in 20 years. And I know someone like that. And they don't want to set up a charity that is wish-wash and terribly run. No, they want to set a world-class type of charity, I think it's called World Aid or something like that. It's really inspiring what they do. Something like that. So with this kind of long-term goal, you need to take, so there's something called an high risk. If you start a business, you're not sure whether you're going to make profit tomorrow, right? That is a risky thing. Real estate is a risky business. Now, how many of us here are saying, whoa, real estate is the best investment, Sharia compliant, and that's how you make all your money? Okay, my sisters and my brothers, if there are any brothers here. Real estate is not the greatest investment, I can tell you. It only depends on what your goal is. If you were to buy a house today and try to sell it, you won't sell it tomorrow. You won't sell it tomorrow. It's not natural. Unless, Allah really decides to bless you, then you can put it on the market today and sell it tomorrow. It's not liquid. I know people who have so many bills, but then they don't have cash. Now, I'll tell you a story again about a client turned friend. I have to find the picture. Yes, so let's call her Zara. We have another Zara here. So this is another Zara. So she, when she came to us, she really had investments in so many properties and land in different villages because she just thought that was the one investment. But she found out that to meet her goal, she wanted to fund her son's school fees and other goals that she wanted to, she couldn't, yet she had properties. So what was a big win for Zara was we were able to advise her based on, by looking at a portfolio type of perspective. Okay, we put together all the property, all the cash she had, and everything. Took a good look at it and said, well, you know what, if we can do this and that, move this, sell this, blah blah blah, we can actually be able to fund this. Invest some cash that you have, just sitting back, idle in your bank account. Today, Zara is super happy. She's well on the way to meeting one of her super goals, which is to fund her son's university. Okay, so that is what happens when you plan. If you don't plan, you fail. Another asset you can put here is growth stocks. So when I say growth stocks, I mean the opposite of value stocks. Like I give you an example of a value stock, which is a stable company that pays dividend. Stocks that are risky don't pay dividends. It's a small company. They're just starting out. And if you know how to buy stocks, and it's not rocket science, to be honest, but I always advise people against relying on a broker. Not that a broker is a bad person, please. If you have family members that are brokers, don't send them after me, please. No offense. But the job of a broker is completely different from that of an investment advisor, in the sense that a broker she's a connector, connects people who want to buy to people who want to sell. So that broker, it's not that broker's job to tell you that this is good for you and for your wealth and for your unique circumstances and for your goals, okay? Because it's just not their job. And actually, from a prudential perspective, according to SEC regulations, they are not allowed to actually give you investment advice. But many people fall into that trap. But they're very good at telling you how much, so they can tell you what stocks are moving, what stocks are not moving, because they see the movement in the market. Okay, so that's why they're quite amazing in that regard. But they're not usually the best people to ask what stocks to buy, what not to buy. Okay, because they'll just tell you what's happening, what everyone's buying, and then you end up throwing your money at like everyone and getting burnt. Okay, so a growth stock are stocks that usually don't pay dividends, but then an example that I can give you is companies that recently IPO'd. So if you follow Jumia, for example, and I'm using global examples just because so everyone can relate, okay? Jumia, I would say, is a growth stock because it just IPO'd, literally, and it's very volatile. So sometimes the pricing is good, sometimes it's not good. That's what a growth stock is, okay? A private business, if you have a business, you want to invest in someone else's business, that's also risky business. So you can allocate money towards this chilling bucket, where your goal is more long-term, and then you use it, all right? Then another one is you can do agriculture, commodity sort of investments here as well. All right, so I've told you about Zara already and what was a big win for her, Zara. I like what Mim says. Mim says, no, huge risk, yo. Why is it a huge risk for you though, Mims? I'd like to hear. And come to Magodu, says Miss Odewale, to let plenty. Oh, okay, that's okay. So these are 3 buckets that we've talked about. And now actually, so for some people, there have been, people asking us questions about, so what do we do? What do we do in order for us to just meet our goals? So the first thing I always advise people is you can do this yourself, which is a very viable option, or you can actually pay and have someone else do it for you, such as Wealth Paradigm. That's what we do on a daily basis, and we have tremendous results, inshallah, to share with you. So one of the things that we have put together is what we call the private wealth management. That we help clients actually meet their goals based on the unique circumstances, okay? And this is the computer screen you're looking at is actually really our platform, where we're able to classify investors based on their unique circumstances. Some questions, we get to know you, we get to understand your lifestyle, and then we are with you for the long haul, okay? So we're not just getting rich quick, get sharp. If you're looking for sharp money, please don't come to us. Thank you. We really want to grow with our clients. We are all our clients know that it's not magic. It doesn't take 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days, or 30 days to just make boom huge cash. Yes, so that's a good one. Do we have Sharia counsel? That is absolutely an amazing question. Yes, we do. Although at the moment, what we do is we actually piggyback on other people who have Sharia counsels. All right. because what we do is private wealth advisory, we have a pool of investments that we vet on the basis of exactly what you said, Sharia counsel. So we would never give clients or would never advise clients to put their money in something that we didn't consider Sharia compliant, on the basis of an entity that has vetted them and says it is Sharia compliant. Okay, so I can tell you a bit more. We don't have exactly ours yet, but there's so many of these entities that have good standing Sharia councils. And we actually do, one thing I personally love to do is whenever an investment is issued and it's called Sharia compliant, I go through the painstaking journey of actually finding the legal documents. And in there will definitely be some, what they call, I think it's a Sharia, something, I don't know what it's called, but a group of people will say, we so and so and so, we verify that this investment is Sharia compliant. And at the end, I love at the end, they always say, Allahu Alam. But they always, so that's the language they normally put to certify that an investment is Sharia compliant. I've looked at the one for Sukuk, the latest Sukuk that was issued here, and so many other investment opportunities. So, all right, so that's one thing we do. And the benefit of that is, you have exclusive access to our wealth management portal, which is a window to your wealth. Where you can just have a look at everything. And one thing is, if you've already started investing and you want to continue investing, it's absolutely fine. We can just, put that for you on a dashboard where you can actually have a holistic view. So with your phone, you can, just, look at and say, oh, this is how much, returns I've made on X investment and Y investment. We thought it would be a very useful tool because people have many investments hanging around there. But if you have it on one portal, then you can, as our investment advisors, we can tell you the risks associated with this. We can review it after a year, after 2 years, and see what works and what doesn't. Oh, Miss Odewale says that's a must-have for me. Oh, good, Jazakillah khair as well. Yes. And then you have one confirmed access with Chief Investment Advisor. Actually, this is more than one, to be honest, because my clients know that they can reach me at any time on WhatsApp, on so many other platforms. And even if it's not there, we can always book an appointment. If clients have any investment opportunities that they want us to review, so for example, you just saw something and then you want us to review, that's why clients pay us. So it's our duty to review that investment and tell you if it's a good idea, if it's a good addition to your portfolio, and if it's not, okay? And then our community, which is very premium valued, if you can see, because we have access to a pool of opportunities and a pool of real estate developers that are premium, who do not default, inshallah rabbil alameen. We've watched them historically and they haven't. We also have several other investment opportunities, agri companies, etc., etc. Okay, that is an option. This is also a client story I want to tell you. But before then, there are people who, for example, just come to us and they say, look, I'm not sure that I know all this information about investing. I know I should save, I know I should invest, but I'm just not ready yet. I have this fear, my spouse won't let me, my husband, my brother, my this, my that. They just have the fear of taking the next step. And that's one very limiting thing for wealth. Because of that, we have put together something we call our exclusive coaching service that we're introducing for the first time. And this is called the Halal Billionaire in the Making. For 30 days, we immerse you in this wealth journey, right? Where you have, a coach that guides you. If you have fears, if you have whatever it is, if you want to start a business, you want to quit your job, whatever it is, there's a process that happens towards a paradigm shift to ensure that you get from where you are to where you want to be. And that is exactly what we do in the Halal Billionaire in the Making, okay? So in that, you get so many bonuses. I can't mention all of them, but I think I have about 5 here. We have the gratitude journal, which are, it's of infinite value. We also have something called the abundance matrix, which ensures that, inshallah, you have alignment between your goals and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. And that is what brings true fulfillment. And then the procrastination eliminator, my personal favorite. It's really, really a powerful tool to help, because one of the key things that kills many people or many people's wealth journeys is actually the fear, and fear is what causes procrastination. So there's a proven tool used by world-class aficionados, people who know how to do things well. I'm going to share that, okay? Wealth dua as well, brilliant wealth dua. it, and yesterday someone sent us a message to say that she's been using this and she has had amazing results, alhamdulillah. Okay? So at this juncture, I think I'll tell you one more story and then I'll close. But I think you've heard so many other stories actually. So let me see if you guys have any questions and then I'll proceed to one or two more stories. If you're wondering how can you join, we'll post a link right now, 2 links for how you can actually join if you any of these services. And let me open my face so you can see me. And I can answer your questions. Yay! I made it. Marathon. Okay, any questions, please? I'm available to answer any questions you have. Question. Okay, so the 2 links have been posted. Very efficient team, mashallah. So let's see if you have any questions. Someone has asked something at the tippy top. Does your organization deal in regulated gold? Actually, yes, we do. We have advised a number of clients on that. And we only truly do regulated gold investments. There's some local, I think there's some local, there's some international. And so, yeah, the answer is yes. Okay, question. No one's asking me any questions. Okay, so okay, good. I'm in my finals in the university. I'm scared of investing in any haram investment. That's a good one, Zainab. Really, I think we underestimate what it to. Look, one thing I tell people about wealth is it's very simple. And when I say it's very simple, it's actually very easy to get wealth. Okay, you can get it the halal way or the haram way. It's very simple. Either way, it's yours. But the best way is to get it the halal way. And people will tell you can't make returns in halal investment. You can't do that. I think that's shaitan, masking himself or herself, whatever shape or form shaitan comes in. And just to instill fear in us. Look, Allah is Allah of abundance. And in no way, shape or form would he tell us to do something that is not for our own benefit. And truly, who are we kidding here? When Allah forbade interest and told us to, and the reason Allah forbade interest was simple. It violates the principle of social justice. And we have videos on YouTube. Just check Wealth Paradigm. You'll see a lot of videos about what makes investment halal and stuff that we've put out there that sort of answer the question around interest and stuff. Make sure you subscribe. So you really cannot disobey the owner of something and expect to have that and just enjoy. Not possible. The best wealth is enjoyed by people who know they got it the right way, and then they have nothing to hide. Inshallah. All right. Zainab says she joined late. Don't know if you covered this. Do you have any trusts or investments? Oh, brilliant. Partnering with very large takaful provider in this country. And I don't know where you are actually, Zainab. I hope you're in this country. But then what we do is we actually help our clients get access to this trust type of thing. And it's Sharia compliant. So are you careful? Yeah, you're in Lagos. Okay, so make sure you chat us up. Make sure you go on that link and let's talk. So we do actually offer stuff like the equivalent of life insurance, right? But the Sharia compliant one. And it's so beautiful in the sense that whatever you put in, you can actually take it out at the end of whatever, what's it called? If, God forbid, you don't die, you can take out your money with your returns, okay? So it's not like conventional insurance where you sink in your money. Even though sometimes in conventional insurance, you can also get your money back, but then the one I know, it's usually not the case. So yes, there are trust type of things that you can your children. For example, if you want your children to have X amount in 20 years and 30 years, what did I say? X amount in 5 years or 10 years, you just need to lock it in with the takaful provider. You state your terms and whatever, and then you state your monthly contribution, and that's it. And they don't hand it over to anyone. Except if you state it's your children you want them to hand it over to, fine. If it's you, fine. If it's another trustee, fine. Okay, Mims, I think, Zainab, yes, I think that answers your question, Zainab. Mims says she's in Uganda. How can Wealth Paradigm be of help to me and my tribe? Oh, okay, we actually can. So there are ways. Wealth Paradigm focuses on 3 things. Our goal, number 1 goal, is to give Muslims access to wealth that lasts many generations. First of all, we do We do this in 3 ways. The first way is we, pass around knowledge similar to what we just did, just share knowledge, share tips. We have courses, free and paid. That's one. Secondly, we also offer opportunities for businesses who are in need of funding, but they can't access Sharia compliant funding. And here's the thing, we're in the middle. We have people who have money and we have people who need money. So we thought, why not just connect them? Okay. So that's also another thing we do. And thirdly, this what I just described here, the private wealth advisory, where we advise clients on where to put their money. So whatever you find interesting, Mims, if you don't find anything interesting in what I just said, just make sure you chat us up on www.wealthparadigm.org, or you can check our Twitter handle, wealth_paradigm. Okay, good. Who else? Zainab says, yay, she watched our live. Thank you, Zainab. Thank you, Jazakillah khair. And Aisha says, what is the minimum subscription to the investment structures? Okay, I get this question a lot. Many people confuse us for, people who pool funds. And for example, you have, like, for example, like an app where you put in some money and the money gets invested for you. We're actually not that. So that's a fund manager role. Okay, we are investment advisors, and I'll tell you the difference. What we do is we want to grow your wealth with you. And it's a personalized service that we do for each individual, and it's very different. It's never the same. And that's why I shared with you stories of different clients, just so you can have a picture. We have one-on-ones with clients. Some of them, like I said, they've turned to our friends because of how much contact we have. So some of us will say, oh, look, I've come across X amount of money. So please, can we increase that allocation to XYZ? And then we go ahead and do that. So it's more of a personalized service. It's not really that, where you throw your money and then you turn around and you're like, how much have I made? Oh, okay. No, that's not what it is. So we wanted to bring global wealth management standards to Muslims. And that's exactly our goal. So it's a personalized service. I hope that answers your question. Whew. Who else? And I have 2 minutes to 9. I'm so excited that I did it in 1 hour. Alhamdulillah. Okay, guys, do we have any other questions? Any other questions? Let me see. I see many people joined, actually. There's Amina O, there's FOB, there's Hafsa, there's Aisha Abdul Karim, there's Aisha Abdul Razak, Latifa. Okay, I think I saw Latifat in the beginning. There's Warda. Ooh, I didn't meet you. Hi. I saw Yasmin. I saw, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Do you have any other questions? Let me see. Zara, are you there? Any questions? Ooh, right. In the absence of any more questions, I would like to say a few points. Oh, thank you so much, Yasmin. A few points around, from now, how you can take action going forward. So I shared with you some tips. And, one of the things that many of us find ourselves doing is we're course junkies. We're always quick to learn things, but then again, we find it hard to implement. All right. So sometimes I think one of the things that people say is, oh, it's expensive to join you at Wealth Paradigm. I say our services are actually not expensive, they're actually valuable. Because most times when you commit to something valuable, you stick to it. And somehow, I'll ask you, our clients who have actually paid us have realized that over time, what was more expensive was the knowledge and the exposure that they didn't get when they didn't do it. So that was even more expensive. All right. Another thing that people say is, what again? So it is, they complain that, oh, the condition is hard. Why is it so expensive? Well, maybe now is the time to invest in yourself so that you don't get to complain again and again that things are too expensive. Okay. Oh, the cost of joining. Oh, so we'll post the link again. There are 2 links and then you can choose whatever you want. I just told you about the private wealth advisory, and then there is the coaching service where people actually want a lot more hand holding instead of just making as much money. They just want to be able to grow their money. So those are the 2 offerings we have. Okay, so here are the links, Aisha, and you can check out the cost. And if there's anything you need, you can chat us up and let us know. All right, so at this juncture, you can chat us up. There's a section, I think, at the top of this page where you can see an email, and also our hand are there, wealth_paradigm Instagram. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. I've been wanting to know more about halal investments. Oh, thank you so much, says Hafsa, and Aisha also says Jazakillah khair. Everyone Jazakumullah khairan. And are there education trust funds? I would say yes as well to Aisha Abdul Karim. I'm sorry, I missed your question. Yes, there are. There are this. You can always structure a trust however you want. It's just the goal that changes, right? And thank you so much. Mim says it's been really informative. Oh, I appreciate. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, super, guys. And Jazakumullah khair, very beneficial. Thank you, everyone. So I'll just take a screenshot, just so I have this for life. And then I'll exit with a big dua. So where is my screenshot thing? Where is my screenshot thing? Aha, found it. Now I know how to take a screen. I struggled with taking screenshots on Instagram. Screen taken. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallahumma wa hamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Thank you guys. Bye. Good night.
Assalamu alaikum. Bye everybody. Well done,
Bye.
Susie. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.